First of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity to interview. It's really a pleasure. We've seen you in many different places, in many different atmospheres, stages, and it's really a pleasure to have you here. So I'll start with my first question, which is, as you would guess, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Lemin Sissay. I was born in England in the late 1960s. I grew up in the villages of the north of England, so right out of the city. I am an artist, I'm a poet, a writer, speaker. I'm really honoured to be interviewed by Addis Insight because your generation is the future. So.
Okay, that's great, thank you. What's something that most people don't know about you from your background, from what you just told us?
Wow, what is something that most people don't know about me? People know a lot about me. I get nervous.
Okay, like when you're on stage performing?
I get nervous on stage. I also get nervous like when I'm meeting people who I don't know. I get nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to overcome that nervousness?
Well, sometimes I don't overcome it at all. You know, sometimes I'm going to see some people in a couple of days' time for a dinner party. I'm kind of nervous about that because I don't know them. So.
Okay. But we've seen you on many stages, so just on behalf of Addis Insight, we'd just like to tell you that it doesn't come across your nervousness, so that's good.
But that's something that people don't know about me.
Right.
People don't know that I actually get quite self-conscious sometimes.
All right. So what made you become a writer?
I was born a writer, I think. I've always written since I was in my sort of before my teenage years. So I think I had a compulsion to write, to interpret the world and around me, and to read as well. You know, I think reading helps.
Yeah. So you use that as a source of what exactly? Right. Well, what's writing to you?
It's well, the world is a source of inspiration. Okay, like all pain, all happiness, joy, all emotion, all sense is a source of inspiration. So people often will say, oh, you know, it's so difficult to find the inspiration to write or to paint or to become an artist. And actually we're inspired all the time. You're inspired by the clothes you wear, you're inspired by your necklace, your earrings, you know, when we cry, when we laugh, we're inspired to an emotive action. When we riot, when we hug, when we love, when we fall out, these are all sources of inspiration.
Correct, that's true. So throughout your writing journey so far, what literary pilgrimages have you been on? Something exciting that you've done so far?
I went to Harlem in New York to meet Gil Scott-Heron, who's an incredible jazz poet, artist, who would have met the very famous Ethiopian writer who died a few years ago, who was living in Harlem as well.
Okay.
I should know his name. He's known as the Ethiopian Shakespeare.
All right, let's leave it. Go on with the story.
So, so I went to see Gil in his home in Harlem and interviewed him and made a BBC documentary about him. So for me that was a kind of pilgrimage.
All right.
I've been to, I know that,
So that was an exciting experience
for me
you?
that was very exciting,
Really?
because he's an incredible artist, he's an influence on me as an artist and as a writer, and
Okay. Having the chance to meet him was
it was inspirational to meet him.
That's
and
amazing. Okay.
You know, I met, you know, Alice Walker.
Okay.
The Black American writer.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou.
You met Maya Angelou. That's amazing.
In Liverpool.
All right.
I met Alice Walker in Leeds in England. I introduced her on stage. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the Kenyan writer. Chimamanda.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I've had the opportunity to meet many great writers.
Right. Okay, so this adventure of yours has opened
Desmond
many doors.
Tutu, Bishop Desmond
Even
Tutu,
Desmond
I met
Tutu.
him as well, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So this journey of yours has opened many doors for you, right?
Yes, it has. As a writer and artist, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think, like in your childhood or in your early teens, what do you think if you changed something then would have made a difference in your life now?
Well, I don't know whether I would change anything that's happened to me. You know, my hurtful experiences I've turned into inspirational experiences, you know. So I don't think I would change anything anymore. I mean, if I could be with my family, you know, if I could have been born in Ethiopia, then I would give everything up. Everything that I have, I would lose just so that I could sort of have my brothers and sisters and my mother.
Do you think you would still have been a writer?
Maybe not.
In this position that you are today?
Maybe not.
Right?
I actually think I would have been a writer. I think
you said you're born with
this,
right?
I think I'm a writer. Whatever my experiences are, you know, you don't have to have an experience like mine in life to become a writer.
True.
You can be a writer and a lawyer, a writer and a doctor, a writer and a journalist. You know, so you know.
Okay, that's interesting to know. So, what is your writing style? Do you type? Do you like handwritten? Do you like to be alone in the company of others? How is it that you get your juices flowing when it comes to writing?
It's a really good question. I mean, at the moment, I write in a cafe in London. So I sit in the cafe and I write in there. There's lots of buzzing around. I think. But I think that the best way really is to write in a quiet space.
By yourself?
Yeah, you go through stages. I mean, I've been a writer for quite a long time now, so I'm trying this cafe thing.
Trying to be inspired by...
Well, just, you know, your imagination doesn't depend on where you are, you know. You could be anywhere and be focused on your imagination, and so I'm just trying cafe at the moment.
All right.
And see how that pans out.
Actually, I think it's going well so far, because even sometimes on your Facebook posts, I see that sometimes you randomly post poems all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Is that out of inspiration in the moment?
Yeah, I try to, every morning, I try to describe how I feel, but also how the morning is to me at that time, and see what comes out.
All right.
The great thing about the tweets and putting poems online is that sometimes it's not always good. So sometimes it's good to press send. You know, just to, because a lot of people don't write because they're frightened of looking bad.
That's true. That's true.
So I try to show people that actually, you know what, throw it out there. We'll see what happens.
Exactly.
See what happens.
Yeah. And it didn't just come out of anywhere. No, it is something that you produced. So.
Yeah. I spent a long time trying to put those things together.
When you're writing, generally, these kind of posts are something elongated. Do you ever get writer's block?
Yeah.
If so, what do you do to overcome
Cry.
it? Really? Alone? Or
alone. Yeah, it's very frustrating when you can't write something that you really want to write. But you know, we have to face our demons. Sometimes you can't write because you're having an argument in your relationship. So you have to sort out the relationship.
Yeah. Or else your writing will be about the relationship.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Right. So if you were to sum up your success, your literary success, in 30 seconds. Go. No pressure.
I would say to follow that I followed my passion and that also I believe I follow, like you can have some thoughts in your head and your heart, and you can quite easily dismiss them as being your own kind of your own madness. You know, you think this is how people speak, this is how people are, but in your mind you think actually this is not how people speak, and this is not how people are. Well, the writer in me believes the voice that is in my head.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes
the writer in me believes, you know, that my instincts, my thoughts, things that people may not agree with at the time, or that may think is kind of crazy, I like to let them breathe.
Okay. Give them a chance, right?
Think of yourself as like a family.
Okay.
Now, family is like, family will always say, you know, this is how we run things. We sit here, we eat, we talk, we laugh, you know, and we're okay. You know, we have our little things, we'll sort this out. But you can be in your family and be thinking, no, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this needs to be, and nobody is talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay, right now, nobody is talking about this. And I think we need to talk about this. That's what it's like as an artist.
Okay.
You speak the unspeakable.
Yeah.
You say what people won't say. You know, and it's very difficult sometimes because people will say in the family, they say, no, please don't talk about that. We really, now is not the time.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the artist's job really to say, actually, maybe now is the time. Maybe we do need to speak about this openly and see what comes out. Because we don't know what's going to come out. You know, we don't know, and that's why family is often frightened of talking about whatever the issue is, because they don't know what's going to come out. They don't know how it's going to affect all the different people in the... Well, the artist is the person who will say, actually, it's okay not to know. It's okay not to know what the result of this will be, but we need to explore it. So as an artist, you create by exploring on your instinct something that you believe needs to be investigated, needs to be viewed, needs to have air. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, the wonderful thing is that when you do that, and you then walk onto stage and you read your poems, the audience will go,
That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we always wanted to know about, that nobody spoke about, and now he says it, it's obvious.
It was there the whole time, yeah.
This is beautiful, you know, this is why artists are both, you know, they're really important in our community, but also seen and viewed as dangerous. You know,
because they speak the unspeakable.
They speak the unspeakable, and you don't know what's going to result
Out of that.
of them saying that,
Those
you know.
things, yeah. Creating havoc in a good way.
Creating havoc in a good way, yeah. I think that's probably one of my best explanations of what an artist is.
Okay.
I've never said that before.
Really?
But yeah, the analogy, the comparison with a family, you know, the artist, it's,
that mindset.
yeah,
That's a very good analogy. Easy to understand.
yeah.
So, no problem. So on this journey, when would you say that you have reached your goal as a writer?
Oh, I haven't reached my goal.
But when would you say
Oh,
that
when would I say?
When, yeah.
I don't think I'll ever reach my. I mean, oh yeah, of course. Sorry. I think I would reach my goal as an artist. My dream is to write a book that either changes a nation or that a whole nation recognizes.
Oh, that's a really big goal.
It's a big goal.
It's a big goal.
I don't
And
think
it's
I'll
amazing.
ever get there, but I don't mind, you know, as long as I'm reaching for that.
Yeah,
for that
something
goal,
to
you
work
know.
towards
Yeah.
is always good. And don't put yourself down. You're already on the right track, right?
I think I'm on the right track.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
don't put yourself
Yeah.
down. So I want to say first of all,
By the way,
again.
I'm not putting myself down because I'll tell you why. Because I don't mind if I don't achieve that goal. But it's such a, you know, our goals should be so big, and we should be going in their direction.
Yeah.
That if we don't get to them, that's okay. You know, the journey is really important. Like if my entire career ended now, I think I would be happy in the sense that I found my people. I mean, you know,
That's
my
a big
journey has
thing.
been a long journey. You know, I feel really humbled and blessed to have, you know, it's amazing to be here.
Interviewing with Addis Insight,
Yeah.
right? That's amazing. Welcome back again to the motherland. You
Thank
told
you.
us you come at least twice a year,
Yeah, I
which
do,
is
yeah.
very good. And I've also seen you on TEDx. I see
Yes.
that when you come, you try to participate in a lot of things.
Yes, that's right.
So when you're living in Addis, communicating with people, how would you say your Amharic is?
My Amharic is terrible. It's terrible. I mean, I've spent all my life searching for my family. I've found my Ethiopian family all over the world. I've been all over America to meet my aunties and my uncles and my cousins and my brothers and sisters. I've been to Paris to meet my sister. Senegal, where one of my sisters works. She's Ethiopian, she works. I've been to New York, where my mum is. You know, I've put everything of my life into finding my Ethiopian, you know, roots.
Roots, yeah.
And you know, people talk about roots as if they're this kind of distant thing, don't they? You know, in England they'd be saying, "Ah, you're going to find your roots." I'd say, "No, I'm finding my family."
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean?
That's true. Roots.
People make Africa into some kind of mystic, distant thing, you know,
Yeah.
especially in Europe and America, you know. And
Right.
it's like no, it's a real place with
It is.
real people
Yeah.
who have real emotions, real politics, real
Of course.
complexity, real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like it how you know, people simplify Africa, and especially simplify Ethiopia. Actually, you know, Ethiopia becomes symbolic, you know, and kind of and I want to say to people, actually, there are Ethiopians.
Yes, yeah. It's
They
not
are
just
a people.
Yes.
They
living
have
in that-
personalities.
Yeah.
They do stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because if I make Ethiopia into some, you know, sort of some great mystic or great thing, a great Africa, you know, it means. But when the people do that, they often don't see people.
That's true. Yeah.
That, you know, and that's I find that, you know, really frustrating because when you see people, you see the real beauty.
That's where it
You know,
lies.
and power and complex. And to see people, you have to talk with them. And most of all, you have to listen.
Yes. That's very important.
But people often come to Africa and they're not listening.
They're not. They're so fascinated. They don't give people the chance to tell them what Africa really is.
Yeah, and even diaspora, you know, diaspora have that as well, you know, of coming back to Africa and telling Africa what Africa needs, or telling Ethiopia what Ethiopia, you know, and it's really, it's a process of listening. I feel really lucky to have, because if you listen, this culture especially, it's so deep.
It is.
That it's a fool who thinks they can come here and tell Ethiopians the best way. You know, you have to listen. If you've got something really important to share and you come to another culture that you don't know about, then you're foolish if you go, "Oh, you need this." You're wise if you listen and you choose the time to say, "Can I show you something that I have?"
That's very true. That's very important. So you came with an open mind.
Yeah, I have, and I've learned that. That's the thing, I've learned that. I think there's a film I made in 1995 where I found my father's plane, and he was a pilot for Ethiopian Airlines, and the plane crashed in the Simeon Mountains, and I went out to the plane. I found my sisters and brothers, and there's one shot in it where they do a shot of a street in Addis, near the National Theatre, I think it is. And there's lots of people walking, and then you see me in the middle. Like, you don't realise that it's because I look Ethiopian, just like all the other Ethiopians. And I think that, you know, coming to Ethiopia to Addis is a way of being invisible as well. It's funny,
You blend.
Yeah, and your job is not to. I feel very blessed.
That's amazing. So when you come here, who are you inspired by when it comes to Ethiopian artists and writers?
Well, I was trying to think of, the obvious for me is Bukatu Seyum and Ephraim Seyum, but I think that I'd be really interested in knowing and seeing. There's also my friend, the artist who's based in San Francisco, who works very much with the alphabet, and his name is gone because I'm on holiday at the moment. So
okay,
that's
so
my
you're on
excuse
holiday brain.
He's going to kill me as well for not remembering. And I think just a couple of days before he died, Afrowork technically came to my event.
Oh, really?
The British Council, and that was very special for me. So he would be the king.
Oh, okay.
But I would really be interested also in finding and discovering Ethiopian women artists.
Okay.
Because around the world at the moment there is I think Yena are interesting.
Okay.
In a very populist way.
Okay.
But I think that I think in a good way. But I think that Julia Meheretu, the American contemporary artist in New York, she is really interesting.
Okay.
And I think that actually she would be the leading Ethiopian Habesha artist in the world.
Okay. That's really
Her pieces sell for millions. She was at the White Cube Gallery in London, and Ethiopia's on the edge of a very good time when it comes down to the arts and artists at the moment.
Right. Yeah,
and I know
really
that there are
awesome.
galleries all over Addis at the moment, and that people are looking to Ethiopia from around the world.
Yes.
Ida Mulone from Addis Photo Fest,
Yes.
is becoming the #1 international photographer from Ethiopia in the world.
Yeah.
Really interested in what Ida's doing with Addis Photo Fest, which is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So I'm inspired by Ethiopian artists. Ma'aza Mengistu, the novelist based in New York, Dina Mengistu, also the novelist in Paris at the moment. There is a lot of art happening in the diaspora outside of Ethiopia and also inside Ethiopia. So this is building to something.
It really is. Yeah.
I think that the cultural industries, and I don't mean and I don't mind, but I don't mean the cross and the classic symbols of Ethiopian culture. We have a contemporary culture which is starting to converse with the art world outside of Ethiopia in the key cities, London, New York, Milan, etc.
Definitely.
It's a really interesting time.
It really is. So
It's an exciting time.
It is, yeah. As a last question, what do you think your plan is in Ethiopia moving forward?
Well, I think it's very important that I marry my Ethiopian
Girlfriend?
No, I don't have an Ethiopian girlfriend. This is the key, you see now. Like I've been coming to Ethiopia for 21 years.
Okay.
Okay, no, I'm joking. Actually, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. But So we'll see what happens in my life over the next few years.
Okay. And we hope to see you coming to Ethiopia more often. Maybe even making this your home. Maybe even permanently.
I just want to say that I just had a conversation with Bookworld yesterday, and I'm meeting them tomorrow, and we're hoping to bring out my book Gold from the Stone in paperback, printed here possibly in March, April next year.
Okay.
So that's an exclusive for you.
That's amazing. And we'll keep an eye out for that.
And that's what I'm looking to do. And then I'll be coming here and doing a whole lot of performances for that as well. And to have my book printed here would be a great thing. And I'll be talking to my publishers when I go back to England about that.
That's really great, and
Yeah.
hopefully that will be the start for many more to come.
Absolutely.
We'd really enjoy that. Thank you very much, Lemin Sissay. It's been a pleasure, and on behalf of Addis Insight, thank you for taking the time, and we wish you all the best of luck in everything that you do. And we know that you're going to reach your goal. We're going to say, I told you so when you reach there. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, that was really enjoyable, folks. You should leave the camera on and get this.
Yeah.
That was really enjoyable. That was more enjoyable than I thought. You